Hi. Do we see things the same way? Do we see the universe the same way? Is your red same as my red? Your blue the same as my blue? Do we taste things the same? Does the taste that you say is sweet is the same that for me the taste that I say is sweet? The taste that you say is salty is the same for me that the taste that I say is salty. The universe has only one unique shape, and we experience this shape for whatever it is the same exact way, like that we are all the observers, we are all the human beings are identical in experiencing the universe. If you ever felt curious about such things, such questions, such matters, stay with me and let's find an answer. Okay, so first of all, we need to define what do we really mean by the question that we experience things the same way. When I say that the red I see is the same as the red you see, I don't mean at all that for colors that are close to each other that I call them something and you call them something else because we are in disagreement about such things. Such things are very well known, and this is not the thing that I am trying to talk about right now. We want to talk about the thing about what you see as red and I see as red, and we both agree that it is red. The picture in my mind is different than the picture in your mind for the same exact red color. This is what I mean for the color, the same as for the tastes and for the other human sensors. Okay, so now that we have defined the question, before getting to an answer or finding if there might be some scientific experiments or evidences that do support this clue, let's first of all think about it before delving into the scientific matters and experiments and such things. Is it possible, in principle, that such a thing would not violate anything, that if it were to be this way? Well, I would say yes. How? The key thing is the agreement. We need to be in agreement. As long as we as human beings are in agreement with the colors, we define them the same things, that's all. No harm is being done. If we are not in agreement, then there would be a conflict and we would say, no, we have to be seeing things the same way. So let me prove to you that if we see things differently, we are still in agreement and no violation to any agreement thing is taking place. So when I say, for example, a strawberry, we all agree is red. Blood, we all agree is red. So what I'm trying to say, that if I see the strawberry and blood and I call it red, you also call it red, but the picture that my brain creates for me to perceive as a red color is different than the picture that your brain is creating or perceives as the red color. Perhaps your red is my blue and my red is your blue, and we are in agreement. You would say no. I would say yes, we are still in agreement. That's no violation of anything, because for example, how do we know that the strawberry is red? Probably when we were young, both of us, our parents have told us that the strawberry is red. So we learned from the beginning when we were young that since the strawberry is red, our brain has created a picture for this red color for me and for you. But that's not necessarily means that my picture in my brain needs to be the same as a picture in your brain. Maybe for me what's in blue, what's in red for you would be blue. Yet, when we both see the strawberry, we will see a picture. We will create, every one of us will compare this picture to the one that is stored in our mind or with the one that our brain creates, and we will see that they are two in agreement for the strawberry and the blood, and both of us will say that the strawberry is red and the blood is red. So it works in principle. And if it works in principle for the red color, there is nothing unique for the red color that distinguishes it from any other color, blue, yellow, green, or whatever. So it works for the red, it works for all colors. If it works for colors, it works for tastes, for smelling, for all human sensory, okay? So we can make a generalization out of it, and that would harm no one and nothing is violated. Probably you will tell me that there may be a violation and we need to see things the same way even with the pictures in our mind, because colors, what are colors made of? I mean, they are electromagnetic waves that carry energy. Light, after all, is in electromagnetic waves, and the colors are different spectrum in these electromagnetic waves in terms of wavelengths or frequency. So for example, red is longer wavelengths, shorter frequency or lower frequency, and blue is shorter wavelengths, which means higher frequency. So since both of them have different frequency, so both of them carry different energies, and this has some implications about our way that we perceive them and their impact on us in terms of physiological and psychological feelings. For example, red is a good sign for alertness and such things. It is used for red traffic light, alarms, and things that needs to raise human attention, while blue, especially the light blue, which is about the color of the sky, it brings calmness with it. It brings the relaxation feeling. So if we see things differently, probably you will see red as red and will feel the alertness, but I see red as blue and I will feel the comfort or the relaxation. No, that's not gonna happen. We will see things differently because the picture our brains create are different, but the neurotransmitter or whatever receptors are there in our eyes will transmit the signals with the right frequency. We just perceive them differently. So when both of us see the sky in different colors in our brain, we will both feel and agree on the same calmness and relaxation. And when both of us see the red, we will both feel the same alertness. So we are still in agreement in this regard. Okay, so is this even subject for scientific evidences or scientific experimenting? Can we experiment on such things? Is it part of philosophy or part of science? If it's part of philosophy, then we would never be able to verify it. If it's part of science or physics or whatever, we can do experiments and tell if this is the case or no. Okay, so let me tell you an experiment which is a very interesting one, and it's with monkeys. And these monkeys are dichromatic, which means that they see only two colors, for example, green and blue, so they cannot see any other color. Okay, so when these monkeys, they had the experiment that they have something like a paper, and the paper had two different colors, green and red, and they want the monkeys to distinguish between the green and red. And since the monkeys are dichromatic, they cannot distinguish because both of them are the same or look the same to them, both colors. So when the monkeys and the experimenters, they want to make sure that the monkeys are selecting the right thing, so they make some kind of a reward. If the monkey, for example, select the red, it gets a juice. If it selects green, it gets nothing. So when the monkey selects something and gets juice, it repeats the selection. But since all the colors are the same for the monkey, both the red and green, so the monkey is selecting randomly and it gets no rewards on a consistent basis. Then they injected some kind of virus in their eyes, and this virus contains a receptor that receives the green color, and then this virus replicates in the monkey's eyes, and then after some time they repeat the experiment again with the red and green. And so, for example, monkey selects red, it gets the reward, juice. It selects green, it gets nothing. And then the monkey has selected only the green colors and get the reward every time, which means that the monkey saw another color and learned that if it selected it, it will not get any reward. So it avoided that selection and keeps selecting only green, which means that the monkey that was not able to see the red is now able to see the red. Okay, so what this experiment tells us, well, or what does it prove, what does it not? Well, if it proves something, then it proves that the monkey that was not able to see a color now is able to see the color. And in controversy to the common thought back then that there needs to be a setup of circuitry in the brain to receive the new color. But the monkey, remember, the virus was injected only in their eyes, so that's the input, that's the receptor. No one had touched the brain, no one has played with the brain circuitry, but even though the monkey was able to perceive the new color, which is green. And that means, since the circuitry in the brain was well adapted from the beginning to receive only two colors or perceive two colors, which is green and blue, with these two circuitry things, the two circuitry adapted themselves to receive the new color, which is green, and now the monkey is perceiving three colors: red, green, and blue, and of course the mixing between them. Which means that there is no exclusive unique circuitry that is assigned for that specific color or that specific colors, which means that the idea that we probably do not see things the same is open to discussion, experimenting, and questioning. Okay, what does it not prove? Of course, it does it not prove what or how did the monkeys see the red. Did they see it the same as our red, or did they see something differently? Okay, probably you think that we have failed, but let's think of it another way. Usually we want to regard the special case as the only true case because it's a special case and we want it to be this way. But what I want to say here is it doesn't mean because that there is something which is a special case, then this one has to be the correct case. No, the other most generic or general cases, as long as they fit with the requirement, as long as they do not violate any condition, it doesn't mean because they are not special case that they are to be disregarded or be out of the discussion or and so on. So let me give you an example. If I say that someone is moving under two conditions. The first condition is that he always moves on curved paths, no straight lines. And the second condition is that he always end up where he started. So the first thing that will come to most of the people's mind is that he's moving in circles. And that's the problem. We always tend to select the special case and avoid the most generic cases, but this is not true. Why? Well, circle is a perfect shape. We want it to be this way because it's simple, okay, but the circle is not the only shape that satisfies the two conditions that I said. Let me prove it. If it's moving on an ellipse is not a circle. It's continuously curving and it ends where it started, so it fits the condition. If he is working on an oval, same thing. If he is working on a completely random curved path with the condition that he always gets back where he started, then these infinite number of possibilities, they are all equally true and they need to have equal chances to be checked, questioned, being under experiments to identify which one of them is the correct. Okay, so that brings us to the point that if it works for colors, it works for tastes. For example, we can generalize it because we can take the abstract idea that the special case is not always the case as long as the other cases do fit the same condition. So for the taste sensory, what I taste as sweet, probably it's sugar, you will taste as sweet and you will tell it's sugar as well. So we both agree that it's sugar, but probably your brain perceives it the same way as I perceive some salty thing. But at the end, both of us say that this is sweet, and we are happy and we continue to eat it and have the same feeling. Same works for pain and pleasure. Probably I feel pain, or I perceive pain. The picture that my mind creates for pain is the same as the picture that your mind creates for pleasure. Yet, does it mean that if you feel the pain because you perceive it as the same way as I perceive as pleasure, that you will say, no, I want this feeling to last forever? No, this is pain for you. And the moment that you have experienced such pain since you were young, and then it repeated and you had the same feeling that you know is pain, which is a feeling for you you don't want to last. So you will just probably, if it's something that is burning your hands, something, you will just remove your hand quickly because this is pain for you. This feeling is bad, whatever how your brain perceives it. Okay, so what is the final answer? Well, probably the final answer is not one that can be told in one sentence, because there is no way till the moment, till the time being, to tell how you perceive things versus what I perceive things. You cannot know how I perceive things and compare them to what you perceive them, and the same works for you. So this leads us to the problem of consciousness. Consciousness, which is still, till the moment, it plays on the field of philosophy, and there has not been any successful achievement scientifically by experiment to define what consciousness is. And because of so, we cannot say the final truth or the final judgment about the matter. Yet, only thinking about it, it broadens our area of experiencing and thinking about the world, and open to us more channels of thinking that probably could benefit us in some other fields, which is always a good thing. Philosophy is always a good thing, even if it doesn't have specific benefit from the subject. You can take the idea and you can benefit it from anything else. Okay, so finally, I know that this idea seems terrifying only to think about it, that we do not experience the world the same way, we do not see things the same way, there is no unique shape of the universe that we all agree to see it. But at the end, what matters is always the agreement. As long as we are in agreement, everything will work just fine. Communities will be built. Common goals and common ideas can be shared. Civilization for human being can be made. Of course, if it were not for agreement, there would not be civilization for human being, because we cannot agree on anything, so we cannot achieve anything or build anything or whatever. Okay, so it terrifies my mind that I may be experiencing the world in a unique way that is only related to me, and no one else shares my perception of the universe. This kind of terrifies me. I think maybe it terrifies you as well, but we cannot prove it, we cannot disprove it. It's good to bring the subject into light, to bring the subject into question until further evidences are being given. And this touches like the philosophical part of the quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics, I don't want to delve deep into quantum mechanics, but quantum mechanics, there is some philosophy behind it that the observer, which is us, the human beings, are the one who give meaning to the world, because the world cannot be seen if it weren't, or if it wasn't for observers. So it's not the same thing, but it's kind of something similar, that because we see, or we may be seeing the universe or experiencing the universe and things in the universe differently, it may be that the universe, or it means that the universe does not have a unique, specific shape. Its shape just matches the reality of the observer. Okay, I hope that I have delivered my message and explained it to a good extent. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you. I hope you stay with me so that I see you in further videos. So till I see you again, thank you and goodbye.